Welcome back to another episode of Practical and Prophetic, where I'm your host, LearnWithTara, or you can call me Tara. Listen, if it's your first time, welcome. Hey, how you doing? I hope you stay. And if you are back and in full effect, thank you so much for your support. Listen, we've been going all the way up, okay? And we about to just get ready to go higher. I already know God is going to speak through the vessel we have here today. We're going to go ahead and get right into it. I have the privilege of having one of the most amazing, authentic women of God out in these influencer streets. None other than Christina with a K.
Yeah. Hey, y'all. Howdy.
Hey, Christina.
Hey.
Thank you, girl. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate you being here today. I'm so excited to get into your story. I'm so excited to hear what you have to say, what God put in your heart. Because FYI, Christina has some stuff to say. Listen, you go check out her Facebook. You go check out any of her social media, Instagram. It's all Christina with a K, and she is literally speaking nothing but the truth. Biblical revelator for sure. So, Christina, can you tell us a little bit, like, for those of us who don't know, who are you? Like, who would you say you are? That's a hard question. I always feel like, girl, that's a hard question. But who would you say you are?
I'm such a goof troop. I'm Christina with a K. Okay, I was raised in Waco. I'm just goofy. I love to laugh. I love to make people laugh. I love to encourage people. I'm a mother of 6.
Yes.
I'm a wife. I'm a friend. And I'm just out here in these streets for the Lord, you know?
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
We can both identify with the kids. I'm a mom of 5, divorced mom of 5.
Okay.
But I'm one of the proudest titles I wear is motherhood.
Yes.
I was just thinking about that today. Let me tell you something. I was sitting at my desk and I was like, I said I was going to say this on a podcast. Okay. I just love being a mother, but not the hood, because sometimes motherhood is ghetto.
Yes, it's a little tough out here.
I just, girl, it's so corny. It's not.
See, that's why. I caught it.
Well, you did. Just a little bit.
I caught it. I'm like, I'm with you.
See, you being nice. Yeah. I was trying to, it didn't work. So, okay.
It's all right.
Christina, a couple years ago, I think we met at a someone else who was a faith influencers event. Oh, I think that's how we.
I thought it was your event.
Was it?
I think it was, Tara.
Girl,
you've been doing some big things.
What?
I think it was your event, or you might have been the host.
What
it was
event?
Like at a nice hotel in Frisco, Plano area.
No, that was Jeanette.
Oh, okay. That wasn't yours.
That's who.
Okay.
Yes, I was speaking on the panel.
Okay.
Okay, and you guys were performing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who is Bridgewater?
Yep.
Which is you and your husband's. What would you consider? Is it like? How would I title, like rap group or?
It's like we call it Christian hip hop soul.
Okay.
Because we do worship too. So that's what we call it.
Absolutely.
Just Bridgewater.
Yeah. And y'all was lit.
Yeah.
I definitely felt the anointing at that time. Man. And so since we haven't even talked a lot, like on a personal basis.
No, I love you though.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Same. The sentiments are the same.
Yeah.
And so I just knew I had to get you on here because at one point, I don't remember where this was. That was years ago. But at one point, I heard you talk a little bit about your testimony.
Oh, yeah.
And I was enamored.
Wow.
So can we get into that? Like I know right now you are a woman of God, you're a believer, but that story is crazy.
Oh, yeah,
Where did you come from?
Man, I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, South Central. My mom is still in Compton. Was born there. Mama was on drugs. She was prostitute. She was because we were all crack babies. So let me just say this: my dad was 20 years older than my mom. He was on dialysis. So when I was born, they didn't really want to give me to my daddy, and then I had crack in my system. So they gave me to a family for a couple of years.
Wow!
And then my dad was like, I could take care of her. I'm well, even though he wasn't. He just wanted his daughter. So he got me. By the age I was 6 years old, and I tell people where you supposed to be playing with dolls, I was being molested by an older brother. And I wouldn't understand what was going on till years later though, right?
Wow.
Because I was 6. By I guess a little 7, I moved to Waco, Texas with my dad, and by 13 my dad died. He passed, and that changed my life.
Oh my God.
And so
At 13, first of all, that's so much.
Yeah.
so much that
Yeah.
you experienced in your very formative years, like early years, without help,
Yeah,
in a sense.
for real.
Just having to navigate all that by yourself.
Yeah.
And my God, praise be to God that you are still here in the right mind.
In the right mind, okay.
So 13, your dad passes away. This is who you're living with. What happened? Like after that, what was life like?
It was
Where'd
different.
you go? Who were you with?
So I went with my aunt. I call her Mama Della. She's in Waco, my dad's sister. I was at a school where it was predominantly white. I was like the only black cheerleader, that type school, right? Everybody loved me. Even when my dad would get sick, I would stay with families at this school, Conley, in Waco. And after that, I switched schools. I was angry. It was like all of a sudden I got angry, and I didn't want to be around people, especially my white sister and brothers that have two parents, that have these nice homes. I just didn't want to be around that no more. And so I switched schools, and I went to the hood school. I was with my black brothers, my Hispanic brothers and sisters. And right when I get over there, it's different.
Yeah.
Because I was a cheerleader. I was different. I didn't fit in with the black people. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't fit in.
Yeah.
And so I go over here, and everybody like, you going to get beat up.
Wow.
They gonna jump you. And so right when I get over there, I see my son, he's about to be 24, his dad. This is the first person I see when I go to the school.
Wow.
And we become friends, and I'm pregnant at 15 now. So that's how that went. I got into, I still got some of my same friends, but it was a different experience being at the hood school.
Yeah.
Everybody was different. Everybody was trying stuff. Everybody was, doing their thing.
Yeah, it was like the fast life, drastically.
Yeah, and I felt like I had to keep up.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I felt like I better do what everybody else doing so I can fit in.
Yeah.
And that's where I just tell my young people right there, just please don't follow the crowd, because you'll get lost in it.
Absolutely.
And that's what I did. I got lost, and I was pregnant.
Yeah. And I'm like, my supporters know, and I'm pretty sure you know by now, like I was a teen parent too.
I know. Same story, really.
Very much
Yes.
similar. Wow. Journeys are so super similar.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in getting into kind of like what was going on in your mind when you were at that time, especially with dealing with all the trauma that you faced, and also now the realization that you are about to be a mother.
Yeah.
Like what was going on
God.
in your mind?
Well, I felt alone a lot, misunderstood. I remember my family did a whole dinner, and I had to take a pregnancy test, and I was pregnant. It changed my life because I felt like I was the first person in the world to get pregnant. Like, that's how I felt. Yeah. Everybody's looking at me like, you're pregnant? You're going to mess up our family's name, type thing. And I was like, I cannot believe. First of all, let me say this. I was pregnant and didn't know it for 4 months. I was running track.
Girl.
Come on.
Same with me.
Really?
I wasn't running track at that point.
Okay.
But I was pregnant for about 3 to 4 months and didn't know.
We don't
Girl.
know. We were young. We didn't know nothing.
Wow. Had no business doing what we was doing.
Didn't know nothing. Right. And I told a friend she's still my best friend to this day, but she spreaded it and told everybody I was pregnant. Because I'm like, your body starts changing.
Yeah. And
you don't know, especially if you didn't have a mother to give you tools. So I didn't know. I was really running track and pregnant, and that's how that happened.
Wow.
I was suicidal. I attempted suicide at 13.
Whoa.
Because I really just wanted my aunt to be like, I was like, can I get adopted? I feel like a burden. You know what I mean? I can't live with my mom. My mom was just out there. She wasn't going to take me no way, right? And then my aunt, all her daughters are grown. She had 2 daughters. And I just felt like a burden. So that's how I felt at that age. And then when I got pregnant, that was icing on the cake. Like, I am a failure. Like, what did I do? I have hoop dreams. I can't play basketball, I'm getting letters while I'm pregnant. Like, my coaches, I'm in the hood. They're like, well, here you go. You done messed up. These are letters you had.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, in this moment, first of all, that's deep.
Yeah.
Legitimately deep. Like, you are in this space of feeling rejection. You're feeling the abandonment.
Oh, yeah.
You're not even feeling like you belong.
No.
And then you're bringing a life into this world. You're dealing with pressures at the school. It's just so much at that time. When you say that you were at the point where it's like, I don't want to be here. So in that moment that you said that you attempted to try to take yourself, can you tell us a little bit about that? Because apparently you failed.
Yeah, I did. Here I am.
Here you are. Praise God.
Let me say when that started, when my dad was sick. he was sick, and again, he's already on dialysis. He's older, right? My dad is full gray-headed, right? And I just remember I was like, now God, if my daddy don't die, I'm gonna kill myself. I mean, I would threaten God with that as a kid. Like, I'm gonna go run. I'll be at the hospital. Daddy's at the hospital.
Were you serious at that time?
I was dead serious. I was like, I'm gonna run out the window and kill if you take my daddy and I don't have nothing else, baby. So it happened, and I remember, so fast forward, I'm in the kitchen, I'm 13, I'm trying to think of a way to kill myself, right? Because I'm like, I don't want to end up, messed up or a vegetable. I don't want to, I could slip my wrist, but I'm scared. I could do this, but I may end up deformed. So I was like, I'm going to take some pills. I took a whole lot of pills. No telling what. You young, you don't know nothing. I ain't end up being nothing but sleepy. But really was serious about getting out of here, because I was like, I don't see the point. I don't have no parents. Like, my aunt is older, her daughter, I just didn't see the point of being here.
So what did it look like when you woke up? Because you weren't planning to wake up,
right?
And you still got life to deal with. What was that like?
It's like, get up, go to school. Just get up, go to school. I kept a lot of stuff to myself. I was overly happy. I'm already goofy. So I would go to counseling before I moved to the hood school. The counselor was like, you covering up something. You covering it up with all that happiness. You are covering up pain. You don't want to deal with it. And that was so real. And I'm 38 now. I can tell you, I just probably dealt with my dad's death like 3 years ago in Rosa's parking lot crying. To Josh. Like, I just don't. Come on. So I hadn't dealt with it.
You had to process it. So God brought it back. The pain that was suppressed.
It was deep.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And what did that look like? I want to go back into your story here in a second, but you said something so pivotal, because I've already talked to, the family, all of you who watching. I've already said this is a woman of God. This is a woman of influence, but you're here talking about an experience where God brought suppressed pain back to this person who, on social media, all we can see is God. And I say that because I identify with you. And FYI, part of the reason why I created this podcast as a whole was so that we can actually get to authentic experience and what it really looks like to walk this life of salvation, to peel back the layers of what looks so pretty and get to that process, because we can't help nobody wearing masks. And also we can't help anybody, projecting this narrative of perfection and that we just
for what
got it all together, or we never have emotions or feelings. And to that point, it seems like this whole idea in this, there's an idea out here in the church that, or I won't even say the church, just a lot of us have pushed this idea that you can't express pain because it looks like weakness when you're anointed.
That's good.
So going back to this moment, like you said a few years ago, that pain came up. What led up to that? Like, what were the factors that brought you to that place?
Just my journey. Like, people see me on social media. They think whatever they think about you, right? When you have a platform, I know you understand that. And they don't understand it. Like, I'm a person that got my own struggles, had a hard journey. Like, me and Josh, we've been married almost 16 years. We have worked together our entire marriage. That's not easy. We've had to be humbled. I heard you share your story a little bit. We've got done wrong by people that said they loved us. We were homeless just 3 years ago for a little while. People don't know that because we were still taking bookings. We're still serving. And people do not know we were in a hotel. We were trying to find somewhere to paint for somebody, just so they don't know that. So they judging you and not helping you. Watch this.
Because you look well.
Yes. Ooh. So I'm not gonna even help you because you look like you got it. But I wear my same jeans. I'm like so simple, right? I'm just recycling. If you're really paying attention, I'm wearing the same clothes. I'm keeping the same hairstyle. You know what I mean? Just trying to make it. And so I think the journey and where we were, and because, my cry to God, two things. Why is it this hard? I don't see everybody going through this. Number two is I cry like Job to him all the time, very often. I wish I was never born. I don't understand why I can't figure out life. But yet you calling me to serve people. Wow. That's crazy. I don't understand that.
Christina,
Yeah.
I got chills all over me right now. I know that's the
Glory
Holy
to God.
Spirit.
Yeah.
I resonate so much with so much of what you're saying. It's so easy to disqualify ourselves because of what is taking place in our external lives, like these factors of, finances and, all these other things, and even our past. But, one thing that that God consistently reminds me of is I never called a perfect person. In fact, when we look at everybody, and this, when we see everybody in the Bible, these were all, people with a story, people who had traumas. Moses
Out of there.
literally was handed into he was put in the hands of
crazy.
the very person who destroyed everybody he knew.
Yeah.
But that became his safe place. Ooh. God was strategically, so he didn't get to grow up with his mom.
Nope.
Right? His mom, that wasn't a preferential choice. It was like she had to. It was by force.
Yeah.
If she was going to save her son, she had to go ahead and send him down that river. And Christina, what I love about that story, and it's similar to like what you're talking about, is so relatable, is that when you really unpack Moses' story and him going down the Nile River alone is very dangerous. A baby, an infant, someone who is very vulnerable. So when I look at this story, I see the symbolism of vulnerability. He's in this river and it's so dangerous, yet God covers him, and then he goes into the house of his oppressor, and God gives him favor there. But he goes through all of these different phases of identity crisis. Ooh. And then he ends up leaving everybody. You know what I'm saying? And he's on the outskirts after growing up in the palace and learning how to be this, realizes that's not even who he is.
That ain't who I am.
And he's running from people, but really he's running from himself.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how God calls him out of isolation. I don't even think he was fully healed yet.
No.
Okay. I don't even think he's like God's calling him to lead. God's calling him to do something great. God's calling him to a challenge. God is calling him to all these things out of his isolation. And so that's what I'm seeing, like even in your story, like God called you out of your isolation. And so many times people feel like you got to be fully healed in order to be called. You have to be perfect. But your calling came way before this experience.
Man.
How did you meet Jesus? Just going back to, post having the baby, and I'm pretty sure you experienced a whole bunch of other things in your life after that. Yep. When did you meet God?
Man, that's so good. I'm so glad you asked me. And it's so crazy. Just real quick, I don't know if you feel this. You talk through your story and it's like I'm hearing my story. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's always like touchy and fighting back tears. But I met Jesus when I was 6. And my brother would leave me home by myself, right? Because he sold crack. And my mom was on crack. Your daddy had dialysis. And he would leave me by myself. And I just remember being a kid looking out the window, singing to God. I'm really serious. Making up songs, right? Yeah. I could just remember me doing this. Yeah. That's when I think I connected to God. And when I was trying to write a letter to God and give to the mailman. This is a story no one knows this but my husband. Wow. And I was like, I'm going to write a letter to the God because I don't want to be with my mom. Wow. Right? And I did, and I gave it to the mailman. He just played along with me, right?
Girl.
I know, and I'm just like I'm going to be a thug out here. I ain't going to cry.
I need some tissue. Oh, baby.
Yeah, I know. Wow. Just hearing it is crazy, but I just know he heard me, So, yeah. Woo! Didn't know we were going to do all this.
Right. It's that thing. You said you were 6.
Yeah.
But your spirit knew God already. Yeah. You didn't even know what was going on. I just love how God always plants a seed in us. You need some tissue?
I'm okay. I think I'm okay. Thank you so much.
Girl, sis, you going to need some tissue.
I'm going to need it. I'm trying to be a thug. Okay. I really am.
Listen, I get it, sis, but wow. God always seems to plant that seed in us. Yeah. Even in the midst of our struggles, even when we're going through trauma, trials, we're alone. He always plants that seed in us. Yeah. And the scripture is true. It proves itself. One plants, one waters, God gives the increase. So sometimes it's him that's planting and watering and giving the increase. Yep. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. One plants, one waters, God gives the increase. Yeah. So you met God in that place, or you feel like that's when you you became aware.
Yeah, I feel like that's my earliest memory.
Yeah.
Of God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go into a little bit about your journey to salvation. Like,
Wow,
you know,
okay.
let's go a little bit into that. Like,
Okay.
where were you at that time? How old were you? And what did your life look like?
I remember, so after that, my next memory is getting baptized in California still. So going to church, my dad would take me to church. I just remember going to some big church and being baptized. So that. And then once I get to Waco, of course, I was in church because Waco is so small. The church was literally, we walked to church. We walked to get my grandma, you know, and we went to church. It was so country and right there. And I used to love church. Like as a little girl, I remember having my little purse and my little notes. And I love that. Now, I wouldn't stay the whole service because I was trying to get to the fellowship hall, right, get some food. But I just remember being that little girl for a little while, right? And then I had the baby, and now I'm like, I don't really want nothing to do. Even though I stayed in church and vacation Bible school. Yeah. But I just didn't want nothing to do. I felt so just like a loser as a kid. Like, look at all these kids doing right. They're not pregnant. Here I am pregnant. But that's when I can say I started just having a relationship. After Daddy died, I got my Bible. Wow. Didn't understand it, right? But I can remember being on my bed, like, I'm gonna read this Bible. That's what I used to do.
And you were?
I was like 13.
13 at that time. Wow.
So those are my memories of me kind of getting this relationship with God.
Okay. And so you're cultivating that relationship with God, but things are still chaotic. Yeah. You have the baby. Did you have support?
Yeah, I did. Okay. My family did support me. I'm not going to act like they didn't. Yeah, I would be taking the baby to my Mama Della. Like, please, I don't know what to do because, you know, some babies can't take that milk and all that stuff. Like, I was going through that with Anthony when he was little, so I was a kid. Okay. And yeah, they would support me, her daughters, my cousin Tyrone. Like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And were you still like in a relationship with your son's father?
Yeah, we were for a little bit. I mean, he was a year older than me. Yeah. We both played basketball. We thought we was loving basketball back then. We
Baby, everybody wanted to be loving basketball. I still want to be loving basketball.
We were friends, but after I had Anthony, I broke up with him because it was girls trying to be all on him when I went to school, you know.
So was he supportive?
He was. We both went and got a job at IHOP. We did. Okay. He right off, yes. Okay. But then we young, right? Yeah. And then when you ain't with the person when you're young, for some reason we think, oh, well, I'm just not. Right. Not so, but that was when he was little. But then he came back and got him, right? Okay. That's a whole nother story. I went through something, baby, with that. I let Anthony go live with his dad at 10. That's a whole nother story.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
We might could get into it. Yeah. We might can get into it. So when did you meet Josh?
I met Josh in acting school and already had 3 kids. Got pregnant at acting school.
Okay, wait. We about to get into that. Yeah. Because we just skipped a piece. Okay. And I wanna close the gap because I'm ready to get into that conversation. Okay. So you moved past. Okay. You teenager having the baby. Yep. You graduated. And then you went to school for what?
I went to school to be a nurse. Okay. But again, I had hoop dreams. So when I went to school, I tried to. I tore my ACL and meniscus senior
Seven
year.
of Great came on here.
Really?
And yes. And so he said the same thing. Oh. He tore, I think it was his ACL. He had hoop dreams.
Oh my God.
And God pivoted. It's always, anyway, that's just, I don't know. That's just so weird because we just did an episode with him.
And y'all talked about that?
We talked about the same thing.
It's the worst thing that can happen to a hooper. You hear me? Yeah. And so that happened senior year, depressed. I was out of there. So I couldn't do anything else. I've never and I played sports, volleyball, basketball, track. I played varsity, everything since ninth grade. I've never played JV. I've never really played freshman. Right? I had favor. So I get out of school, went to school to be a nurse, tried out for the basketball team, but I was scared because everybody was still built. My leg was mushy. I failed an art history class, so that was it for that. Okay. I couldn't play no more, no way. And I still was kind of just promiscuous and had a boyfriend. And I just was wilding. I had an inheritance that I got, and I was working at Dell Computers, so I kind of was free. Okay. I had Anthony. I worked.
So you had a little something.
I had a little something.
You thought you was doing something.
I thought I was rich,
like we all did.
Yeah, we thought. Don't know nothing. I would go hang out at South Padre. I just really thought I had a freedom. Yeah. But yeah, that quickly changed too. So when I didn't understand how to pay bills, because my dad left me a house too. Wow. I don't feel like I had help with that. Wow. Yeah, no, but I feel like I was.
How old were you when you were left the house?
Well, when Daddy died, 13. But I couldn't get it till I was 17, 18. So I let my mama Della, one of her daughters, stayed there until I was of age. Okay. And they needed it. And so I got the inheritance first, and I already moved out, paid up on an apartment. I knew to do that much. And then I get this house at 18. I don't know nothing about Tara. I'm on the corner. I know nothing about paying bills. I know nothing about keeping the grass up. I mean, I was in a house and all my bills, everything was shut off.
Wow.
And I feel like no one helped me. I
didn't
lost
know.
that. I didn't know.
You didn't have any guidance or any, training in any sense. Anybody coaching you on how to actually be a woman, be responsible,
Let her figure it out.
No financial literacy.
Nothing.
Okay. And so during this time, you are meeting guys.
Yeah.
And you get pregnant.
Yeah.
Again.
I'm pregnant.
What was
again.
that?
So now I had Anthony with his dad in high school. That's your high school
Right.
sweetheart. And then I meet this guy. I'm at a party. We're at a Baylor party.
Yeah.
Everybody thought we were college students. I meet him, and I thought he was a college guy, to be
Yeah.
honest. He wasn't. Okay. He was from the projects.
Oh, he was from the Jets.
From the Jets.
And at that time, a good girl
Yeah. With the
like
Jets.
a bad boy.
Yeah. They love him.
If you had some swag,
you the one.
Come on now.
Yeah, he was fine. I was like, he is fine. He from Baylor.
He was a specimen sent from heaven. You
No.
thought?
Yeah, I
No,
thought.
not sent from heaven. Okay.
I don't know where he was sent. But I had 2 kids with him.
Right. Okay.
So I have BJ. I'm wrapped up. This is when I first learned, looking back now I'm dimming my light. Yeah, that's what I was doing, trying to fit in. I didn't fit in with nobody. Everybody loved me in the projects. But
Yeah.
they was like, you don't fit in.
Yeah.
But they love me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these people I grew up with. But, so yeah, I had 2 kids with him. When I have my 3rd child, that's when I'm in school.
Okay.
I decide I can't afford this house. I sell my dad's house. I move. I get another little chunk of money from that. I get about $16,000, move to Dallas, pay up rent. And I went to audition for America's Next Top Model.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
I was like, I'm going to be a model.
I mean, it's not shocking because you are definitely beautiful. Girl, I'll be looking at your stuff. Girl, I was like, she's so pretty.
I say the same about you.
Thank you.
You're beautiful, man.
Thank you.
Glory to God. I mean, because at what we've been through, you don't feel that way.
Come on now.
You be like, I don't even see what people see.
There are days.
For a long time, getting a compliment was like an attack for me. That's weird to say, but it was. I was
Unpack
like,
that.
For a long time, because you've been molested,
Yeah.
you don't feel worthy.
Yeah.
I just never even took myself that serious
Yeah.
either. And so people were like, you're so beautiful. I mean, I would get stopped by everybody, and I'm just like, okay, y'all milking it. Like, stop gassing me up. I'm not that
you
pretty.
didn't believe it.
At all.
Yeah.
At all. So I'm just goofy, and again, cutting everything with being goofy, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I just didn't feel it. I thought it was an attack after. I was like, stop telling me this. I don't get it. I used to look in the mirror. I didn't think I was ugly, but I didn't think it was
I get
like
it.
I was stopping people.
I can definitely relate to that because I think my insecurities started with bullying as a child, like
yeah.
skin color, and I just didn't see the beauty in myself either. So I definitely get that. And you know what? I did a lot of things that confident people did, but I wasn't confident. It was
Wow,
really a
that's
mask.
good.
It's kind of like, okay, so it's like you have all this insecurity, but here you go auditioning for America's Next Top Model.
Yeah.
And most people be like, just from the outside looking in, so much is just hidden, right? But I love how over time, with maturity, with God, we learn to be vulnerable, open,
for
real.
real.
We ain't trying to impress nobody, fake a shake. So you're auditioning for America's Top Model. How did that happen?
Well, remember they had a season where they did a short season and Eva wins.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And I think the season before we were going to get to meet these girls, so they were having this audition, and again, having this confidence, but not really having this confidence. I was like, I'm going down there. I'm gonna be a model. I'm gonna tell them I'm 5'7" though.
Girl.
I'm gonna tell them.
And so how tall are you in real life?
I'm like 5'3".
5'3".
And
Wow.
I had heels, and clearly they're in this industry. They can look at people and be like,
Oh,
"You
my
are not."
God.
So it was like, okay, they looking at everybody in the room. They're like, okay, you're not 5'7". But what I learned, it was a performing arts school, and so the people was like, you really could do some print though. You are beautiful. You could do print. And I was like, and they was like, why don't you audition for the school? I audition, I do this. I know nothing about it. I took theater in high school. I didn't know nothing about this stuff. I auditioned, I made it into the school.
Wow.
I make it in, and the one of the administrators helped me. I even lived with her for a little while because my car started breaking down.
Wow.
Oh, and so that's how I got to that school.
And that's how you met Josh.
That's how I meet Josh.
And for all of you who don't know, Josh is her husband.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bro phenomenal artist. I definitely got to plug Josh. Let's plug him real quick.
Life Art.
Life Art.
He paints. Yeah, Life Art _J Bridge.
Life Art _J Bridge. And we're going to definitely put that up. Yeah. Listen, this is a man of God. If you in Dallas or anywhere, you gotta book him for any artistry. And yes, I'm promoting my bro because he is great.
He's
like
good.
I've hired him a couple of times and working on a project right now.
Yep.
So you meet Josh, and what was that like? So you have 3 kids right now.
Yeah.
You are in school. You're trying to figure out life. You meet Josh.
I meet Josh.
Yeah.
I'm on my way out 4th semester.
Okay.
Josh's 1st semester.
Okay.
I'm on my way out. So I think we had a little time together because he sees me pregnant at the school. Imagine.
Yeah.
But we became friends. He says God highlighted me, but I said it's kind of the same thing. We just became friends. He was very different, and I think God tricked me because I thought he was a football player. I thought he was a hood dude. He was so different. I was like, I thought he was Muslim too. That's random because he would wear this little hair wrap thing and have his little hair. He had afro.
Yeah.
He would wear his hair, and I was like, he Muslim. I don't even think this gonna work no way, right? But I meet him, and we just become friends. And after I have the baby, we become friends. Let me say that. And we become friends, and it's innocent. It's one of my first innocent relationships. I don't have to be that. I don't have to do anything with Josh.
Right.
We can go see the B movie and go to Starbucks, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Wow.
Right? And that was my first. Yeah.
Was Josh on the Christian journey at that time? Like, was he into, or was this just like he was just respecting your boundaries?
I think so. I think he was different too.
Yeah.
Josh was sheltered. Okay. So you could tell that right off.
So he wasn't going, like, he wasn't even on that.
Yeah, he was very innocent.
Yeah.
But he was doing his music. He did R&B. He was like Anthony Hamilton, passing the CDs out. And I was one of the last people to get the CD, and I was like, this boy is good.
Ooh.
He didn't know how good he was.
Wow.
Though. And so he was pushing that. His mom was like a Christian playwright. So they were Christians, but he was loving the attention from acting school, right? Coming from being sheltered to getting all this attention.
Okay.
So it was times I would just ignore Josh.
Yeah.
Just because we were young.
Yeah.
You're arrogant when you're young.
Yeah.
You're like, please, all these girls want me? And I was like, please, I already have 3 kids. I'm so much faster than you in that. So
how'd it go from that to like, y'all married now?
We married. We go hanging out. We start doing music. I would go hang with him. He would play his music, and I would just try to freestyle. I knew nothing about music. He was like, your voice sounds pretty good, though. Started from there. I had friends that would throw parties at PV and all this stuff, and we would open up for Duro and Armarion and stuff like that.
Not Duro. Wait.
Baby, Duro.
What was that song that he had?
Fresh Paint Job? Yeah, that big shot. That was a hit.
Yeah.
That boy was
Fresh
hot.
inside.
Yeah. He killed that. That thing still jam.
It's
still jam.
Yes.
But we were doing stuff and not knowing nothing. And from there, I was Christina with a K, and he was more of my producer. Yeah. So I was kind of like a solo. He backing me up. Okay. We didn't know nothing. Got to doing some stuff for executives. People wanted to manage us.
Wow.
Record labels were coming after us. We started getting groomed for Grammys and stuff. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah.
What?
We started getting groomed. People were like, okay, now y'all start going to these parties. And we were like, huh? You know. And at the same time, I'm already researching the stuff. So I'm like, I don't know about these parties. Yes.
These the Diddy
parties?
parties?
Yeah.
Okay.
Eventually probably it's going to be the Diddy parties.
I'm saying what the people are saying. So this is allegedly.
Yeah.
They say they call it the Diddy party.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Them type of parties.
Eventually you're going to be at those.
Okay.
Yeah. But they're grooming you for the Grammy parties, which we don't know what going on there. But yeah, we're getting grown. And finally we meet the executive who's like, hey, if you're not going to sell this and this, you might as well just not. And we wasn't willing to compromise like that.
Wow.
Right? We were trying to be clean secular.
Yeah.
Right? And we had great music, but we just didn't know nothing.
Wow.
And so
that's that propaganda.
Yes.
Right? As I said, Seven was on here. We filmed an episode. And he talked about the same thing, how, he reached a peak in his music career, and things were just not as they seemed. And so, like, you had these people force feeding you this negative narrative to push through your music.
Yeah.
And so, like, today, a lot of the music that we listening to right
Garbage.
is force-fed from hierarchies that we can't see. And these hierarchies really are principalities. But a lot of this negativity, and it's in the contracts.
Yeah, it's there.
Sis, let me tell you something. I just wanted to put a bookmark in our conversation real quick. Something that the Lord showed me, or let me just say it like this. Something that I perceive and suspect.
That's good.
Can't validate this. Is, you know, a lot of these artists who are out here pushing these narratives from, you know, over-sexualizing themselves, other people, just violence and all this stuff. Some of these people, you can see in their eyes, they don't even want to do it. And they'll say it. Come on. But once you sign that contract,
you're doing it, baby.
You got to do it.
You're doing it.
And so then you have the masses who are consuming this confusion, this chaos from people who are producing something they don't even want to put out there.
Can I ride on that too and just say this? I'm going to say this and leave it alone.
I'm passing
we're
you the
going to
mic.
go. He told me one time years ago, gave me dream. I used to dream about Beyonce, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj. I used to dream about these people. He said it like this, and hear me with your spirit. You can.
Yeah.
He said Beyonce don't even want to be Beyonce. Y'all sitting here lusting after this stuff, and they don't even want. I've heard Katy Perry said, "I wish I could just go be Catherine, whatever her last name is." I've heard Lady Gaga say it. Ariana Grande say it.
Sukiana said it at one point.
She sure did.
Cardi B said it too.
Immediately after they do it, they like, I made a mistake.
Because they tied to that contract.
They tied.
And there's some other things that are connected to that too.
Yeah, and they cannot just come out of that.
Absolutely.
Without some serious warfare.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So we getting groomed for that.
Yeah. So y'all are getting groomed for that in that particular moment, and you say no, not so.
We were like, nah.
You weren't even that strong in your faith yet, but you
At
just
all.
knew it didn't align with your morals.
I'm just not finna do it.
Absolutely.
It was just like, it was stupid. It was like, that's clownish. Like, why would I go do this? So we didn't do it. We take a little break, and then we just start using our gifts for God.
Okay.
And we're going church. We're literally going church to church, knocking on the door. Hey, we just want to share.
Talk about the grind.
Hey, come on, grinding, knocking. Hey.
Wow.
And we're just passing our little flyers, doing our acoustic set, right? We know nothing about Christian hip hop. Let me just say that.
Wow.
We know Lecrae, but I'm like, okay, Lecrae.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I know nothing. It's a rabbit hole. Yeah. Actually.
We had to, even at that time when Lecrae, around the time he was coming out, we had to warm up to Christian hip hop.
Yeah,
even as a Christian.
I'm like, I
don't
corny.
listen. That's corny.
I like, this is corny. Not Lecrae per
no,
se.
right. Not Lecrae.
But I was like, this is crazy.
Once I heard Lecrae is when I was warmed up to Christian rap at that point. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like he go hard.
He went hard.
You know, and so now we got so many amazing Christian rap artists like Emmanuel the Prophet. You got Rich Dan Famous. You got Kayla from Eden. You got Alex Tara, what's that? Alex Jean.
He's so, my kids love him. Yeah. And he's awesome.
Yeah. And we have you.
I'm here. Hey guys.
Yes. Okay, so y'all knocking door to door. You're at churches.
We do that for a little bit, and all of a sudden we get booked at a mega church for 5 years straight.
Okay.
Talk about training.
Wait. 5 years straight?
We booked at this church. Okay?
Wow.
It's a mega church. Looking back, God training us. And also showing like, y'all ain't ready. That's why I don't give an inheritance to kids. Because you're not ready. Let me train you.
Wait. Can you preach that real quick?
I can.
Because I know there's times in my past, thank God that I've learned, where I really thought I was ready for something.
Not.
And then you get so depressed because God don't give it to you. Yes. Or you start feeling like, you know, it's something wrong with you. That God's not hearing your prayers. Yep. But then later on, you find out in the by and by. See, we a little older now.
Yeah, we a little older.
Find out in the by and by. Some things.
You like, oh.
Can you speak to that?
You go, and the first thing is, first of all, we're still making CDs, burning it off the laptop. And we get booked at this mega church, and the line is wrapped around the door. We run out of CDs. We're not even ready to accommodate the blessing.
Wow.
We're not ready for it, T.
Right.
We're not ready. So that was a first thing. And also, we're being trained, because this is a mega church. They have about 3-4 services. We're doing the same thing. So people look at us now, and it's folks that they're entertainers. They're they just trying to entertain. Well, first of all, our background is performing arts. That's what a lot of people don't know.
Right.
We know how to entertain, if you will, but people are not seeing that we got trained a different way. Let me say that. We were classically trained, right? So why not bring that excellence to God? Why do we want all the secular people to, y'all watching now? Instagram showing what y'all watching. Y'all want to see that. But then when a Christian person try to come and give excellence, they just trying to entertain. And it's like, maybe I'm giving my best praise.
Wow.
Maybe I'm giving my best offering right now. And maybe you need to search your heart, right? So that's just a whole nother thing.
That's why we never supposed to judge a book by its cover.
Oh, my God. Please don't
Girl, that's
do
a
it.
whole
That's a whole nother
topic
thing.
of conversation.
Yeah.
It's prevalent in the church.
Oh, my God.
Girl, like legitimately, the Lord he has been speaking to me. I just want to talk about real quick, pivot the conversation since you brought this up, right? It's I hear a lot of like prophetic words, a lot of words from a lot of different faith influences about like, oh, God's bringing judgment in the land.
Yeah.
And he is, but you know what he showed me?
What?
He said, I'm starting with the believers. I'm starting with the church.
Always.
And sometimes though, I think like when we don't go to church and we're Christian, we think we're exempt from it
so good,
because like, I don't go to church, I don't deal with them people. But the way the Lord showed it to me is he was like, it's the actual institution of the church, the leaders and the people in there, right? But he said, you, the person, whether you go to church or not, you are a church.
Yeah.
And anytime anyone is encountering you, they're having church. You don't even have to sit on a pew to be in church. You are one. And so what are people experiencing in your church when they meet you outside of the church? So the Lord showed me, he said, it's this, he's not pleased with character. And that character, not from a religious lens, he is referring to the way we treat each other, what we project on each other, how we lack love, how we lack empathy, how we can sit up and we're super harsh. You know what I'm saying? Jesus wasn't like that
at all.
And that's what, sis, that's what I struggle with even coming out in ministry when the Lord called me to. Like, I was like, God, me too. And I was like, Lord, I don't want to be public. And Tierra and some other people was like, you got to obey God, legitimately. But I was like, Lord, I'm so different. I'm so unorthodox, but I'm definitely authentic. Been doing this for a long time. I look like a spring chicken, but I've been in this for 18 years.
Been in it.
And what the Lord, I was like, God, I know there's going to be so much judgment out there. But before I came back out in ministry from a public standpoint, the Lord had me do a 2-year study of the character of Jesus and the character of the scribes and the Pharisees. And I saw a drastic difference. And I want you to touch on this too. I saw a drastic difference between Jesus and the way he handled his walk and other people. Yeah. And his beef was with the religious leaders. Yes. And they didn't digest him. They didn't believe him. No. But he didn't allow them to bully him either. You know what I'm saying? He was quite confrontational. Yes, he was. And it was towards the keepers of the law. Yep. But when you look at Jesus, he teaches without even speaking, just in his actions. Yes. And that's at large is missing, in the body. And that's what God wants us to get back to. Yep. Ooh, so that's good. Yeah, girl. That's good. So you experienced that.
Oh, yeah. Girl, first let me say this. We did not want to be in ministry. Let me say that. And I struggle with that to this day. To this day. No, I struggle with that. Because people don't know that we just was like, well, we'll just use our gifts for God because we can't go sell that. Yeah. I never knew it was this rabbit hole of people building their own kingdoms, because that's what it is. Oh, you're building your own kingdoms, and then but I got all these numbers, y'all. God blessing me. It's a whole lot of stuff that come with this. And then people harsh. They judging you. They don't want to help you. They don't want you to, I ain't finna help you. You ain't finna be looking better than me.
Honey.
And first of all, how are we when we all are so different? One body, but so many different pieces. And people, I just have seen so much ugliness. And people that are fake, and they put up masks, and that's why God is raising up people like you and me.
That is absolutely true. Yeah. And those people are in and out of the church. I got to hit on that again, because so many times we will sit back and say, that's why I don't go to church. There it is. And we point the finger towards the church people. And really, when I point my one finger, I got how many point back at me? Exactly. Ooh. But as a Christian, this isn't a church thing. This is a believer thing. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so I don't even have to step foot in the church to be accountable to this kind of word. Good. Like, I am responsible, I'm accountable, and people are having encounters with me. And so they're having an encounter with the church. So like you said, God is raising up many members, one body. Yeah. That means that I heard Stephanie Gretziker say this a long time ago, that God never called us to raise up duplicates. No. We're supposed to raise disciples.
That's it. That's
So
good.
we got into this mentality where we're trying to make cookie cutter versions of other people that we mentor, that we
That's
coach,
so
that we preach to,
good.
and that was
And
look
that's
at
a cult. That's a cult, baby. I don't.
Girl.
I see that. It's weird. I'm sorry. It is.
No, you're speaking. I know a lot about it. We'll have to come back on another
Yeah.
episode and get into the nitty gritty of that, because a lot of times we do be a part of cults,
And don't even know it.
and cults are people who are raising themselves up. It's the self call, right?
I heard it like this. They say a cult is when the leader or whoever that leader is over, how do you say, over praised. Mm-hmm. I said, wow. Mm-hmm. It's overpraised. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's weird.
Overpraise, demanding,
Yep.
narcissistic
That's
in some
the
kind
word.
of way.
Yeah.
Really, it's the spirit of Jezebel.
Oh my God.
But controlling,
Yeah.
manipulative.
Yeah.
But it's hard to identify sometimes
hard.
because it comes in a different form. The Bible says the devil transforms himself into an angel of light, working which seems to be good.
Yes.
That means he's good at transforming himself
Yeah.
into looking good.
Yeah.
So, we got to have discernment. And a lot of these ministries, a lot of these
Man,
people, on even mainstream,
Yeah.
small to mainstream. The small church got a problem with the big churches.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, because if Jesus was here, he would have been the greatest influencer known to man.
The
He would have had
greatest.
millions of followers,
Yes,
because
he would.
it happened when there was no social media.
Yes,
So
yeah.
you can't demonize somebody because of the size of their church.
Yeah, I
And
understand
then
that.
you have the big church that's pointing fingers at the small
Yeah.
church.
Like, God ain't with you.
But then they had churches and houses back in the day.
Oh, I
it's
love
not
that.
about the actual structure. It's about the heart.
The character
And there's
of the
a lot of
person.
people out here, what I find, and I'm going to just put it like this, and I'm going to pass you the mic, sis. A lot of the self-called, or these leaders that we're referring to, I see have used ministry, their ministry leadership position, as a sense of building identity, a sense of
wow.
validation, a sense.
Ooh.
So when you think about it, it started way back when.
Yeah.
We talk about, especially in different, let's just say in different communities.
Okay.
But when a person, most of these cult-like ministries
Yeah.
are very aggressively controlling. I mean, even with the number of times they have church, how long they have church, how they have to like nest and just watch over their people.
It's
And
weird.
it's like a possession. Instead of having the ambition for like business
Yep.
and whatever
Really training
other
and
people
teaching.
identify themselves in,
Yeah.
we can identify ourselves in things even outside of the church.
That's right.
A lot of these people build that as a means of personal validation.
They do.
And it becomes
Scary.
it's their baby, and it's no longer God's garden, right? We're supposed to till the garden. We're supposed to nurture the thing that God gives us, and
Yep.
steward, right? Ministry. But when we make it our baby, we take it out of God's hands and we create something
All
that
kind of
is ungodly.
It ain't there.
Yeah.
That's deep. I've seen that. We've been, people have, so we started on gospel side first, though.
Yeah.
So we know we've been to the Stellars, and then we
Yeah.
can go over there to the Christian hip hop stuff with Lecrae and all them, because I don't know, that's the favor we had. But it was, looking now, and we've been in this almost 10 years with the gospel stuff. So it was God training us. I love this. You said it earlier, but this is what he gave me for this year. Nothing is what it seems. It's not what it seems. Smoke and mirrors. I think I heard you say that before.
good God.
It's not what it seems. You'll get up here and be like, what? It'll break your heart when you realize, like, oh my God. That's why he said the lust of the eyes, the pride of life. What is it? The lust of the flesh. That is Satan's tools. Like, he is still doing the same thing.
Wow, Christina. First of all, I read that scripture about a week ago, and I hadn't really gotten into it because I wanted to talk about it. But you're bringing this back up. So, you experience this in the music industry, but I think we've all experienced this in life.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to lust after something
So easy.
that's not even real.
It ain't real.
We can idealize, idolize, thoughts,
Yep.
opinions, places,
Yep.
people,
Don't even know.
and don't even realize sometimes, what somebody said a long time ago. I think it was like Lil Wayne a long time ago. You know, he used to be.
We used to love Lil.
Come on now,
Yeah.
baby, lyricist,
Yes,
poet, all
yes.
that. And at one point, you know, somebody said that he was watching everybody else in the hood trying to replicate what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
And they were watching him trying to replicate. Nobody had a
He didn't
sense of
have it.
identity, and everybody's it was just like this.
The
this
blind leading the blind.
The blind leading the blind. It's this cycle. But, you know, these people at the bottom are looking at him thinking that it's
got it.
this, and he got it. He's looking at them trying to find himself
trying to
in
find.
them, and I'm trying to find it.
Dang.
And so we do that even in, you know, in our lives, even with other things. So that's why the Bible talks about like our ambitions and you know, where our heart, you know, is something that, first of all, is deceitful. It can be deceitful. Ooh. And that's believer or unbeliever.
For real.
All of us have to guard our heart. And it's easy for us to plant our hearts in the wrong place.
Yeah.
But the hope and the beauty of having a relationship with Jesus is that he is a firm foundation. And what he is what he is.
That's what he is.
What he said is what he said.
Yeah.
He is the most secure person I have ever met in my entire life. And he is constant.
Yeah.
And I constantly feel like I'm finding me in him, even after 18 years.
Yes. Well, I mean, why wouldn't you be if the people around the throne with all the eyes and stuff, they're still right now still saying holy because they're getting a different aspect of God every time. Still. This has been billions, right, by now of years. Well, he's the Ancient of Days, so this has just been forever.
Yeah.
So if they're getting a new, that's why I tell people, you see people on platforms and folks want to judge and think they're so perfect. Why would Jesus die for us if you're going to reach a point and be like, okay, I don't need Jesus no more.
Absolutely.
I don't need him.
Yeah.
I figured it out. No, you need to be praying for people on platforms because they on the front line most of the time and they getting toe up out here.
You better say that.
I'm for real.
You better say that. I always say this is, man, you tracking and you in the vein.
Glory to God.
Man.
And we're just going, guys, okay?
That's it. Right? Practical and prophetic.
Yes.
I always say this. My humanity is a reflection of my need for God's divinity.
Oh.
Like,
I got to process that one. That's good.
I don't consider myself like a big influencer. I do have some influence, right?
It's
one of
huge.
Praise God. But one of the platforms, I'm on TikTok and I have like 160,000 followers.
Yes.
So I get to speak. Thank God I'm privileged to entrusted by the Lord to speak into the lives of so many people.
Yes.
And I'm very vulnerable and vocal and super transparent because they see this they see and they experience the prophetic gift. We have thousands of testimonies of people, right? Experiencing the fruits, healings, financial break, all these things. But what I love to talk about is my need, like on a daily basis, no matter what God has allowed me to see, do, come in contact with, I am a human and I go to God. Like we need to embrace that humanness. But sometimes in the church we demonize humanness, right? Like we sometimes tend to go off on the spiritual deep end and demand like strength. You got to be strong all the time.
Yeah,
when the word
that's
says,
crazy. My
grace is sufficient in your weakness.
Yeah.
So when we start learning to live from that place of authenticity, we'll be healed even the more.
Yeah.
I found my healing so much just constantly in acknowledging my humanness and my need for him.
I love that, my need for him. One day I'm gonna write this book, but I always tell people my book is called Giving Out of Your Need. That's my testimony that I'm giving. It's days where I've served and I've come home and I don't have milk in the refrigerator. Yeah. But nobody knows that, right? I just stopped working in February. My company was sold. And last year I was distracted. I took off for TikTok. My Bible studies were blowing up and I just took back. I was struggling with depression again, that came back up and I just was distracted. And so when I stopped working, I was like, I'm just going to jump back in there. I had to be released though. I ain't going to lie. Cause I never wanted to be the person that's online acting like I just got something for y'all and I'm struggling. Yeah. Right. I want to be transparent. Yeah. So anyways, that's neither here nor there, but I'm going to go back to where we was. Cause I don't know where I was going with that, but, we get in the music industry and it really changes our life and he's fixing our character the whole time. So you think you keep wanting something And I'm gonna talk about this too. Just like I think of Hannah, and I'm just gonna say this line: Hannah wanted a son so bad, but God wanted a prophet. So the whole time we're sitting here thinking, but I want this. I want to be famous. I'm trying to be an influencer. I want numbers. I want this. But God sometimes say, what happens if I give you that? Are you really ready to serve?
Are you ready to give it?
Are you ready to give it?
What she was praying for, she had to pass on.
She had to give it. She had to be humble.
Wow.
We ain't even humble. You want the numbers, but what do you have to give the people? What do you have to serve the people? Because if Christina gives you something, you probably not going to make it. Yeah.
Come on now.
Can I be honest?
Come on now.
But if I know, like you said, my need for him every day stays strong, I got something to give y'all because I need God.
Come on now.
People think I'm just funny and happy. No, I'm laughing to keep from crying most times.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. You got to come back.
I love you, T.
Girl, I love you too. Oh my God, my mind, fireworks.
I'm sorry, because we are really going. We're improvising. Like, this is so awesome.
I mean, legitimately,
I didn't
it's
know what
all.
we were gonna. Yeah,
it's prophetic.
Yes,
girl, I be trying to like create a agenda.
He'd be like,
and
oh.
Girl, one time he rebuked me and said, "What it is?" I said, "I gave you this. This is practical and prophetic.
Yes.
It's who you are. I never know what I'm gonna prophesy. I don't be knowing what I'm gonna say. It's just gonna hit."
Yes,
and so, wow,
thank you,
look
Holy
at all the jewels and the gems we're receiving from you.
Man,
we definitely got to come back and get into some deep stuff because it's some revelation down in there, girl. And I'm ready to hear and I'm ready to receive and I'm also ready to just have that reciprocal exchange. It's crazy, you know what I'm saying? This is elevation for real, and I'm pretty sure you guys can also feel it too. So I just want to just kind of wrap this up for now.
Yes.
Because this ain't going to end.
I know. It's okay.
My God, I see so much. I see so much in the future. So you now, like just a few years ago, you had that experience with God where you are at a space where it's like life is on pause.
Yep.
You're in a struggle. You're in a trial. You're in a situation. And there are people around, but nobody can see.
No one sees.
No one sees.
Pastors are calling us. They want us to be youth pastors, and I'm mad. Because I'm like,
y'all homeless.
Can't see.
Y'all going through home. You can't eat right now.
Where your discernment?
Right.
How you don't see we going through? How you don't see we our marriage is struggling? How you don't see that we struggling? That's what made me mad. I was like, Lord, these people must ain't got no discernment.
Some people would be like, well, you got to say something. So that's true when you're talking about just regular interactions.
That's true.
It's true when you're talking about people who don't have insight.
That's right.
That's true when we're talking about people who don't have spiritual discernment. It's not true when we're talking about people who are walking in the spirit. So, because, from a carnal context, most people be like, well, that's entitlement. You just need to communicate that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
But no, when you're walking in the spirit will reveal things. And what I learned a long time ago, I was dealing with that same thing when I was married. We were going through something. Yeah. And I had been known like to just be the go-getter. I'm gonna get to it. Even if I have to reinvent myself. Yeah. If I gotta go clean toilets, it doesn't matter.
Been there.
I'm gonna always look put together.
Yep. Come on.
And there were times in my life where I had like deep need. This is beyond the financial.
Deep need.
And what was revealed to me is sometimes people can't see your need, but they make determinations that you should just have it together.
Yeah, look at your platform.
I will give based on my preference. So if I don't see you look homeless, if I don't see you under a bridge, it's easy for us to give in places where we can validate.
I can see that.
Where we can validate the struggle. But when we have seen somebody successful before, we know they're articulate, or we know they look put together, they're a person that is not entitled, or a person that's not somebody who we know they can bounce back. We are less inclined to give, or less inclined to ask, or be present for that person in the moment. And thanks be to God that he don't have a preference.
It's two things. It's some people are so blinded and selfish by what they want, because I want your gift so bad. And then number two is, number two is, darn it, I lost it. It's going to come back. But it's two things. You're so blinded and you want my gift. I can't think of the other one, Lord.
It'll
Holy
come
Spirit,
back.
help me.
Yeah.
But anyways, just experiencing that. Oh, they're so used to people being desperate and coming in churches and wanting to feel important. It's so many people that go to church to be important. I go to church to come up.
Right.
I go to church and I could be an usher. Then I can. Okay.
Identity. I'm finding my.
I got to find my identity.
And that's.
And I got to come up and I'm gonna be an influencer.
Yep.
That's the spirit.
Wow.
When it's people that's out here probably like me and you, I didn't want to do this.
Same.
I still be like, they be like, where the podcast? I be like, hey, pray about it.
Oh, it's coming.
Because I'd rather somebody like you be real in front of me, not somebody that just want to be an influence and want to be seen.
Yeah.
And you don't have no meat for me.
Ooh.
You could be pretty all day. You don't have no meat for me. Because
Can't
when I'm
feed me
struggling in the car about to kill myself, I'm promised some of this music ain't gonna get it. I love Beyonce to death. Her song ain't gonna pull me out. It's not gonna pull that gun away from my head when whoever these new babies is, just crazy clowning out here.
Absolutely.
That ain't gonna do it.
I need something.
I need
with
some
substance.
meat.
I need some divine.
Yeah.
And guess what? It can come through somebody who is human.
Come on.
Because the God's divinity is supposed to be represented in our humanity if we're a believer.
If we're a believer.
The Bible says miracle signs and wonders follow them that believe.
Yes.
And sometimes we sensationalize the wonders of financial miracles or casting out demons. But what about the wonder of meeting a need for your brother that's right in front of you,
right
seeing
there.
somebody struggle in the spirit, being so connected to God that you can discern or perceive a thing.
They're not doing that.
With the person that's right there and move on that.
Yeah. And that's ministry.
That's real ministry.
That's you being the church, like
And
you just
guess
said.
what?
Yeah.
It's okay. Can I validate something? It's okay to receive that. Because I know what I feel in the atmosphere. It's so many people that don't understand spiritual things that would invalidate this because it seems like, oh, don't nobody owe you. We're not saying that. Nobody's saying nobody owes us. But over here in Christianity, based on our conviction, we do owe each other brotherly love. That's what the Bible says. The Bible says, he that knows to do good and do it not, it's sin to him.
It's demonic, man.
So as a believer, I have a responsibility to meet needs for others. Jesus himself, and we're going to just say it like this and close it on out.
Come on.
Jesus was challenged by somebody who knew the law, who was a lawyer.
Ooh.
This man was asking him, Jesus, what do I do to get into heaven?
Yeah.
And Jesus said, what does the scripture say? And he goes, love God with all your heart. Love your brother as yourself.
Yeah.
And then he goes, but who is my brother?
Right.
In other words, the lawyer is projecting his preference. He wants Jesus to validate his preferences. Like, who would I consider my brother?
Yeah, because I'm legalistic.
Who would I consider my brother? Like, is it the people? It's not just who I prefer to give to. Jesus says, well, let me tell you, there's this man, he gets robbed, right? He's down. He's left on the side of the road with nothing. Here comes the priest, and the priest passed him by. Steps over him. Here comes a Levite. He passed him by. But then here comes a Samaritan person. Right? Samaritans, by the way, were people who weren't respected in religious culture, even though they believed. It's stated somewhere that I did a study on this, and I found out that the Jewish leaders at that time, Jewish people, there was a disconnect because some of the Samaritans' theology was not on, which is probably true. So they kind of created their own separate structure, which is why there was so much division. But even though they didn't have the right theology, they captured the heart of Christ. They captured the heart of God because that Samaritan man stopped, not the priest, not the Levite, right, who's in the presence of the Holy of Holies,
missing it.
The Samaritan who they felt were more inferior, religiously inferior, stopped and helped the man and went the extra mile. And Jesus said, now who do you think going to heaven?
Who you think?
That's literally what we're missing.
We don't have it.
In ministry, in marriage, in relationships, we feel like I ain't got to do that for you.
I ain't got to do that for you.
You don't if you're not a believer. Okay.
But
if we say we love Christ,
you should.
We're called to serve each other and even sacrifice and even see each other and pursue God and get before God to inquire about each other unto our Father.
Good. Nobody, but we're selfish, 2024. It's about me. I'm trying to build this kingdom real quick.
Yeah,
I gotta get these numbers.
Me and my family.
Yeah, we clicked up.
Yeah.
We've just experienced so much, and I'm grateful because God was showing us like, hey, I'm so serious about having a relationship with y'all. I would shake up all your little stuff you think you want and need. Because I'm serious that I'm coming back. Yeah, and y'all sitting here, he's fooling us. He's putting up this mirage. We're going to be sick when we get before God, who ain't going to be as friendly as he is now. He a judge once we get in front of him. He ain't friendly no more.
Ooh.
They done gave you chance to chance. Now you go. You the first 48. Now you before the judge. The judge is not friendly like that.
Ooh.
He just not. He's like, I'm being friendly now. You know, y'all so busy lusting. I keep going back to her. Y'all pray for Beyonce. But you lusting after her. You not in your spirit and praying enough to know she need prayer. Y'all praying for her next album. Y'all ain't praying for her soul.
Girl, you speaking, because me and Tierra, my best friend over there, the Lord revealed that to us for years. And we've been interceding for her.
Me too.
Her soul.
I love her so much. But I don't love your music. I don't love the way you went. I don't love how they do you in that industry. I don't love it because I want to get to you and tell you the devil you serve, he bows down to my God. That's what I want to tell her. She don't got nobody around her that's going to be real with her. They yes men. They not going to be like, hey, come here, let me tell you something. Y'all put her up here. And she put her pants on just like us. She struggled just like us. First of all, she got to go do all these shows, and she ain't no robot. She pulling out of her spirit and feeding families with what she do. Because the gift come without repentance. So many of them, I just love them, and I look at them, and I get so sad because it's like they don't even want to do this. And we just sitting here like, yeah, it's just entertainment. And I think that's why God took us the way of performing arts, because it's hard for me to even watch a commercial without breaking it down and being like, it's hard.
Because you know more.
I just know.
Because you've seen more.
Yeah.
Christina, wow.
I know.
This conversation was so full.
I know.
It really was. And there's so much more that I want to unpack with you, and so much more I want to talk about. Mental health. We can talk about that. We thought we was gonna talk about mental health. We did. We in a sense, though. I guess we did. Yeah. But we got so much. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Coming here. And again, can you tell the people where to find Christina with a K?
Christina with a K. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm Christina with a K. Christina Bridgewater on Facebook. I'm still on TikTok. I think somebody hacked my page, but
oh wow,
I guess it's still out there. But yeah, I just do my little hood Bible studies.
Okay. And real quick before you go, what you doing now? You said you know, company got sold. What's your focus right now?
Man, I'm doing content. I have my children. I have 5 boys, 1 girl. I got a son that's been playing college basketball, the one I had at 15, because God's a promise keeper. Ooh. Right? And so, not only that, I got a son graduating this year. He's going to be playing some D2 football. And my 3rd son is graduating early, playing some D1. He just committed to Oklahoma State University.
Wow.
So he gives you more than double. I just want to encourage somebody right there. He gives you more than double. Where I thought I lost a dream and a promise, he gave me sons that are going to college to play sports. So he's funny like that.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Can I obey God on your behalf?
Obey him now, baby.
I'm going to obey God. I'm going to do it. Before this, how we closing out with a bang.
Okay.
We going big or we ain't going home. Okay. Because we got to go big.
Yeah.
I heard the Lord say in my spirit to sow into you today. And I want to be clear that I'm not going to sow because of a crisis or because me sowing into you is not indicative of your value.
Yeah.
It is actually elevating each one of us who decides to plant into this woman of God. I know the power of reaping and sowing.
Yeah.
And we got to understand, when you sow into good ground, you receive a harvest. You are good ground.
Man.
And today I want to sow into you, and I'm going to open the invitation for all my family, my lifelong learners, and any other person that watches this to sow into you.
Wow.
And I don't care what the naysayers going to say. I don't care what the people going to say.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
So I want you guys to partner with me and just bless this woman of God. For those of you who have it in your heart to do, I'm going to post the way to sow in the description box, okay?
Oh, wow.
We're going to do that today. And we're going to watch God work. Sis, it's time for you to come forth like never before. God is truly raising you up in this hour.
Man.
And your voice is so needed and necessary in more ways than one.
Yeah.
And I even know that there's restoration coming in your household with every other thing that's taking place. It's time for you to be presented. It's time for you to be presented.
Yeah.
And you were presented once before, but it's so funny. David was anointed in private.
Yes.
Then he was anointed again, and then he was anointed again. Same with Jehu. He was anointed 2 times.
He was.
And those anointings carry us, right? They empower us to go through the process with grace. It empowers us to learn, and that's what you've done. But it's time for you to come forth again. So anyway, we're going to have some conversations.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for dropping these gems, sharing your story. And I know somebody was blessed. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. My God, my heart is full. Now, I want you to know, you guys, I have done what you've asked me to do. Many of you asked me on TikTok to create some kind of community. We want the replays, the prophetic words. If you don't know, I release prophetic words very often on my platform. So now I have created a Patreon community where you can go and become a member, and you'll have access to prophetic replays, words from the Lord, from the Spirit of the Lord. And you can go and click the link in my bio, go check it out, become a member there. All of the prophetic words are dated, documented, so you can go back and have something to reflect on. Until the next time, we'll see you later.